Hello Java hipsters! My name is Matt Rabel and today I'd like to show you how to get started with JHipster 8. We're going to build a simple blog application and then we'll deploy it to Heroku. So let's giddy up! JHipster's main website is at jhipster.tech and the demo I'm going to create today is in GitHub at mrabel jhipster8-demo, and in this repo there's a demo.adoc, which is just a condensed set of steps from this tutorial. So if you go to the readme.adoc, that's this whole tutorial, like step by step, and kind of explains everything as it goes. And I'm just going to do the condensed version. So we'll go ahead and put this on the left, and then I'll open up a terminal on the right. And we're going to make sure we have Java 17 installed because that's required by Spring Boot 3.2 and Node 18. And then I'll go into my downloads directory and create a new blog directory. The take command is just from omyzsh. It doesn't make dir and cds into it. And then I can type JHipster. And it'll ask me what the base name of my application is. Blog is just fine. We're going to create a monolith. Do you want to generate a Fang client? This is actually a bug in JHipster 8.1.0. So hopefully it won't be there in the future. Because you don't need Fang clients when you're creating monoliths. And then we don't need Gatling or Cucumber. We're just going to do Spring MVC. We'll do org.jhipster.blog. For the package name, we'll use JWT authentication, SQL, Postgres for production, H2 with disk-based persistence for development, cache, and we'll choose the defaults for Maven or Gradle, and we'll use Angular for the front-end framework, and Cypress for E2E tests. We'll generate the admin UI. We'll use the default theme. We'll do internationalization with English and Spanish. And we'll just choose the defaults for Cypress tests, and that'll generate the whole project for us. You can see that took a few minutes to complete. That time will depend on your internet connection, your laptop speed, or your desktop speed, or whatnot. You know, a lot of it's npm install, so until it's more like Maven, that's what we're stuck with. So now we can start this up with mvnw, then open it up in a browser, and sign in with the default credentials of admin or user. With admin, you can see that there's user management. You can see metrics are being calculated, and the health checks show that everything's up and running. And we also have Swagger support, so if you wanted to, you're going to go here and click on any of the APIs and check them out. You can certainly do that. And then, of course, we have Spanish, so what's it look like in Spanish? Pretty cool, huh? So now back to our instructions. Let's confirm everything works with Cypress. So npm run e2e will do that for you. All right, all tests pass in 47 seconds. So now what we can do is create entities. So we'll go ahead and stop this one, exit out of there and clear that one. And we're going to create a JDL, which is a JHipster domain language. That's how we know we're cool, right? We have our own domain language. So if you go to start.jhipster.tech, and then JDL Studio is in here. And if I sign in, I have the JDL file that I created earlier. Don't save. Design entities. Here it is. Yep. Open it. And there we are. So I can copy everything from here. And then close that. And this is blog.jdl. So one of the cool features of IntelliJ is there is actually a JDL plugin. So let me show you that real quick. If we were to open it, I have the plugin installed, and you can see it gives a diagram just like JDL Studio, and it has syntax highlighting, code completion, all of that. So, and I think you can even run it from here as soon as it's done indexing. So I'll close that down, and then I'll run JHipster JDL blog.jdl, and when it prompts me to overwrite it, I'll say yes. So basically we have a blog, we have posts that are part of a blog, and then posts can have tags. So now we can restart the application. We can see there's posts, or there's blogs, there's posts, there's tags, and all of this demo data or fake data is generated by faker.js. So if I want to change it so it's not generating that fake data, I can open it up in IntelliJ and go to the application dev file. And this only does it for development, so you know, it won't do it if you run the prod profile. But I like my data to be a little cleaner, that's why I'm changing this. So if you look for faker, you can just remove it there. And then if I go back to the command line and remove target h2db, then it'll take all that data out of there, and then I can restart it. You might notice up here there's a bunch of Liquibase that's been run. That's because as part of the CRUD generation, it generates Liquibase files that create your tables, schema, all that kind of stuff. So now if we refresh here, you'll see there's no tags, there's no blogs. Let's create a blog. We'll do an admin's blog, handle is admin, user is admin, and a user's blog. And then we'll do a couple posts, right? First post, and we'll assign that to the admin's blog. And then we'll do, how about those nuggets? NBA champs, baby. I live in Denver, so I'm biased. Put that in the user's blog. So now you can see we do have an issue where you can actually see each other's information. So let's fix that at the blog level first and make it so if you're logged in as admin, all you see is the admin's blog. You can do that by opening up IntelliJ and going to the blog resource. That's the endpoint that's serving up those blog entities, and look for get all blogs and change find all to find by user is current user. And then if we click into that, you can see that method already exists on the actual blog repository. So if we go back to our resource, we compile it. Because we have Spring Boot DevTools configured, it reloads everything. And now if we refresh, let's make sure the code's right first. Oh, this is it. So you'll notice we're passing in eager load, or the default is true. So I actually have to go into this method, which calls this method, and add a where condition here. So similar to what we had up here, where blog user login equals the authentication name. So right there. And then I can recompile this class. And now it's filtering properly. So there's two places that you have to do it, just for eager loading and all that kind of stuff. Back to our instructions over here. Also the post resource, right? If we go to looking at posts, you'll see that those can still see each other. So post resource, and look for get all. You'll see this one's a bit different. It still has that eager load logic, but it the find all looks a little different. So this will change to my shortcut isn't working. So let's just grab this right here. So this is find by blog user login order by date descending. So this method doesn't quite exist yet, but the cool thing is Spring Data JPA allows us to create it, and it'll make it all work nicely. So we can just change that to username, and this will find all the blogs, or find by blog and by user.login, and then order by date descending. So we can go ahead and build the whole thing since we changed two classes. Oh, and then we forgot this one down here. So post repository, that's this one here. Add that where clause, build it again. And so that gets, this is, used when no eager loading happens. This is when eager loading happens. And then we can refresh. Not quite. We're close, right? I think we're close. Let's traverse from the resource to this one, which goes to this one. Oh, I think I got the wrong where class here. So up here. And then rebuild and reload. And now it's working as expected. So the next thing I want to do is make the UI look a little better. So if we were to edit some code in here and say, I'm an admin, but I like that to be bold. I'm a bold admin. Save it. You'll see it doesn't change that to HTML. So a blog, right, you want to have HTML. Ideally, you could do Markdown or something like that, but we're not building anything fancy like that. So now if we go to post.component and find where that post content is, you can see that it's just rendering it raw. So one of the cool things you can do is you can use the inner HTML on the TD here and then remove this part and it'll change right away. And we have a feature built into JHipster where you can run npm start, and that'll allow you to reload the UI whenever you make any changes. And it'll do it automatically. It does it via browser sync. So now if we sign in, admin, and go to our posts, you'll see that's bold. Kind of looks bold. Let's do something else like H1. There we go. Now you can see it's rendering, HTML properly. The other thing is making this table look a little better, so more like a blog. We're going to grab this right here, and then JH posts is a shortcut I have, and then come back to our UI, and now it looks like a blog, right? Pretty slick. You can still edit and do all that you just did before, but now it looks more like, a normal blog layout. So the one thing that will happen is if you were to edit, this is the admin's post, but if I went in the URL here and changed to 1052, you could edit the user's post. So that's not great. So there's some additional locking down that you should do. For instance, in the blog resource, get blog, you could change basically this logic here when it grabs a blog to do a bit more filtering, right? So it checks if the blog is present, and then if the user is assigned to the blog and it matches a current user, then it lets you proceed, and if not, it throws a forbidden exception. So if you go back to my instructions and search for this commit, this shows you all the things that I needed to change to really lock things down. So, both in the blog resource here, we're, checking to see if the user belongs to the blog, and then in the post resource, similar, we're checking if the post has a blog, and if it does its user match, and if not, then throw that forbidden error. And so I'm not going to make all those changes here because it's easy enough to see it, or you can just clone the repo and look at them that way. And so now I'm going to build for the cloud. So I'm going to just take this out because that does mess up some unit tests. So you do have to do some unit test modifications. Shows you right here like what you have to do when you create a blog. Instead of just creating a blog, you have to add a user to it. And some of the tests delete the user, so that's why I have this logic here that creates a new user if one doesn't exist. So I'm going to build this for production. But rather than just building it, I'm going to actually just deploy it right to Heroku. So JHipster Heroku, that's how you do that. So it's going to prompt us for a few things here. Name to deploy it as, we'll do JHipster 8 demo. We'll do it in the US, and we'll go ahead and build it on Heroku. Why not? Let's use Java 21. It asks me if I want to overwrite the POM XML. I'm going to say A for all. So you can see that succeeded. It took a few minutes. We can do Heroku open to check out our app. So that all works. And then we can do Heroku logs tail. So you see all those requests there. And then if we wanted to log in with, admin, we could certainly do that. And of course, change that password as soon as you get to production, right? Because anyone could hack it, or they could get in with those credentials. I hope you've enjoyed learning about JHipster and seeing this quick demo. If you want to follow me, I'm at mrabel on Twitter. I'm also on LinkedIn, and JHipster is on Twitter. So go ahead and follow them there, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you don't like mine, because I don't post a whole lot, subscribe to my teams at Octadev, where we post about identity, we post about security, we post about all kinds of stuff. We're not post, we create videos. I hope you have a wonderful day, and stay hip with JHipster.